It's Mejia May.
We've all seen Virgil Abloh use the 3% rule to create his signature shoes. I applied that same rule to this drum loop, which helped elevate it from sounding like this to this. A way better fit, and all it took was changing up the snare. It's your boy Mejia Made, and you'll see how using this rule in your beat making process can make you a way better boom bap producer. So what is the 3% rule? Basically, it's where instead of reimagining something completely, you make these subtle tweaks to give it new context while still having it be recognizable. For this beat, I started off with a drum loop where for the most part, I liked the majority of it. I liked how for the sample that I used, the kick and all the percussion elements within the drum loop fit really well, but the snare in the drum loop I still felt was completely throwing off the beat. And that's how I knew that in order for this beat to work, I had to make that subtle adjustment, in this case the snare, in order to get the right feel for the beat. So really quickly, I'm gonna go ahead and play the original drum loop. So I think we can all agree that for the most part, the drum loop sounds good. The kick hits, the snare is different. It sounds very boom bappy, but modern. The only problem is that for this beat, even though I like 99% of the elements within the drum loop, that snare was just sounding a little bit too modern. So I decided to go through my different drum kits just to check out what I have. And I ended up coming across this snare. What I liked about this snare is that it had that same punchiness as the kick within the drum loop. So I knew off the bat that it could work because they had a similar type of texture. So now with this new snare, let's go ahead and listen to what the drum loop now sounds like. So now you guys can really see the 3% rule in full effect. Obviously, I didn't create anything different. I didn't chop up the drum loop. I didn't add any processing to the drums. All it took was just changing up the snare. If you guys keep that in mind the next time you're making beats, you'll realize that sometimes that sample you have or that drum loop that you have caught your ear for a reason. Even though you may feel that it may not work with all the other elements that you already have in your beat, sometimes all you have to do is just think about one tweak that can make it fit with all the other elements you have. For me, it was the snare. And now you guys can see that originally the drum loop sounded very boom bappy but modern, but now it sounds a little bit more like that traditional boom bap drum feel. So now that I had my drums all sorted out, it was time to start chopping up the sample. The VST I use to chop up the sample is Serato sample, and the sample itself is by Alan Hawkshaw. It's called A Man Alone. Really the only thing I ended up doing to the sample is pitching it down minus 2 semitones. And after I had pitched it down, I found the section within the sample that I knew I wanted to chop, and these are the chops I came up with. But after I had those chops, I knew I needed a completely different section just to make the beat a little bit more interesting. So that's when I came up with these new chops. After I had laid out my chops, I knew I wanted to introduce a textural element to the beat, so I decided to add this lo-fi noise. So as you guys can tell, it's very low in the mix, but because I am using it as a textural element, I didn't feel the need to make it so front and center. And that's how the 3% rule can become an important part in your beat making process. You can see how just this one swap made this beat a whole lot better. That's why the next time you open up your DAW, don't come in with the mindset of coming up with something completely new and original. Sometimes that mindset can hinder your beat making process and even slow down your progress. That's the mistake I was making when I was just starting to make boom bap beats. So that was pretty much it for this beat breakdown. Make sure you guys stick around till after the outro so you can go ahead and hear this beat in full. So now you guys have a better understanding of the 3% rule and how it can be applied to boom bap. In the same way, simplicity can also be applied in the way you mix your drums. Just click on the link above to see what I'm talking about. If you guys gained any type of insight from the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really going to help the channel grow. With that being said, I'm going to catch you guys next week for a new video. Until then, Stay blessed.